What's up, y'all? Happy Sunday. We are back for the Real Housewives of Potomac. Let's get into it. I don't know what's going on with this camera. This glare. I don't know what's going on with this glare. Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to figure this thing out here. Okay, that's better. I don't know what was going on with that glare. That glare was really bad. Um, what's up, y'all? Come on in. It's the Real Housewives of Potomac season 10, episode 14. I think we're on. Listen. This trip was terrible, Angel. I tried to help you out last week, Angel. I did. I made excuses and I tried to help you out. I did. But this trip makes no sense to me. So first of all, we pick up where we left off last week. Now, Giselle, you was walking around acting like you had some top secret information. You mean to tell me that your inside information was the information that Wendy carried, the bone that Wendy carried you from the agent? First of all, and this is where people piss me off, because Giselle, you and Ashley both know that shit don't make sense. There is no home in the DC metropolitan area that you renting for $1,000 a month. First of all, I don't even know where you're going to find a house that you renting for $1,000 a month, much less a house that you're renting. That's going to look like a multi-million-dollar home. So that didn't even make sense what you're saying, Wendy. And it wouldn't even make sense for somebody to say, hey, I need to, find a house that is going to look like I'm paying $16,000 a month, but I'm only paying $1,000 a month. Second of all, if this was a rental property, all y'all had to do was look it up on Zillow or something and find out what the rent was per month. It's real easy to debunk or confirm. First of all, what Wendy said didn't make sense. And y'all know it doesn't make sense. But if you want to find out how much that woman was paying on that rental property, it's public information because it's a rental. They have to have it posted. There has to be, whether it's Airbnb or something like that. And why y'all ain't call Tia and say, hey, Tia girl, we need you to look something up for us. You didn't even have to tell Tia what it was. I mean, she probably would have figured out the address. But you could have asked Tia. If y'all couldn't find it publicly, why y'all didn't just ask Tia to look it up? So there's that. Okay. Then, Angel, you could have done the same thing. If you really were concerned about these women thinking you got evicted and you didn't get evicted and that woman was lying, I'm not saying you had to necessarily call her, although I probably would have called her. I'd have called her. When they said, well, let's call her, I'd have said, let's call her. I'd have said, Wendy, call your friend. See, I wouldn't have called the person that I thought because who you talk to, Wendy? Call the lady you talk to. You call her because you're the one that bought the bone. Get her on the phone. I want you to ask her on speakerphone what I said. Let her repeat it. The same way y'all did to Chris. The same way y'all wanted to do to TJ. You call her. And ask her on speakerphone what I said to her. Because Angel is saying that conversation never happened. Wendy's saying the conversation did happen. And what I hate is how people play word games. What Angel didn't say, because Wendy was like, see, I wasn't lying. Just because Angel knew who the realtor was that you were talking about doesn't mean that you didn't lie. Just because it was the same person doesn't mean that that woman said it to you or whoever. So there's that. Then they go outside and they're doing intentions. Child, none of y'all have good intentions, period. And Angel, why didn't you participate? And if this is the intention, if this is how you're trying to start this off, why didn't you participate? I didn't. So then Tia and Kay has a kite. She took that damn altitude medicine and got her kite. She crying about everything. So they leave and they're headed to Angel's house. Let me say something. Oh, we're going to get there, Kevin. Give me a second, baby, because I'm definitely going to get there. I'm glad that production did the flashback of all the times that Giselle had a screwed up room. So we're not going to act like this the first time you've had a room without a bathroom. Girl, go somewhere. But in fairness to Giselle, I do remember, didn't Giselle and Robin leave one time and go to a hotel? So to be fair, Giselle has left and gone to a hotel before. So the other thing is, they said that last week I tried to defend it and I was like, I can't believe production let them stay an hour away. I don't think they're really an hour away. They're not really an hour away. They can't be an hour away. They're not an hour away. I guess they really are an hour away. I don't care about Giselle. I don't care about Ashley. I don't care about none of that. I think that is absolutely ridiculous that production allowed that. Just like they said, as they were driving to the house, there were Airbnbs that were closer. Hell, I'm sure there's a hotel that's closer. Y'all could have just got them a really nice. I'm sure they have resort style hotels where the ladies could have got nice rooms that were closer than that Airbnb. And just because the Airbnb is $1 million Airbnb, I don't give a damn. I thought, and I put that on production. I don't put that on Angel. I put that on production. Why would y'all allow her to put those women in a house an hour away and then split the women up? It would be different if Angel was the only one staying at her house, which I still wouldn't be okay with that. But how you gonna take Angel and two of the women to a whole different hour away? I just thought that was ridiculous. And I tried to defend it last week because I was like, I don't think it's really an hour. And they said 35 miles, and 35 miles isn't an hour, but I guess it is an hour when you're in the mountains and you're not doing like a highway type of thing. Like it's like, winding roads and stuff like that. I guess it does take an hour to go 35 miles in that environment. So the ladies get themselves together and they go to Angel's house. Angel had a really nice situation set up. However, I feel like Angel was on a mission to prove that she is who she says she is. So Angel invited all these other people that don't have nothing to do with those women, that weren't trying to get to know those women, didn't know nothing about those women, weren't even friendly or welcoming to the women, just so she could say, yes, this is so-and-so. Because you could tell by the way she was introducing those people. Yeah, I mean, he handles billion-dollar portfolios. And yeah, he has a nonprofit and I'm on the board. And so like, okay, you're trying to prove that you are that girl. Which I understand because they've been giving you such a hard time all this time. But girl, you were just trying to prove that you are that girl. And the way that those men were so like they didn't get up and greet those women. They didn't smile. They barely spoke. And what that says to me is those are Bobby's friends, and Bobby been talking shit about those women. That's what it said to me. I felt like they had been talking about them women before they got there. And those women were right to feel uncomfortable, because I would have felt uncomfortable, because I'd have been like, damn. You know how when you walk into a room and you could tell somebody, the people were talking about you before you got there? Yeah. That's how that was. They walked in that room and you could tell those people were talking about them before they got there. After they tried to angry black man Bobby, I'm not mad they didn't speak. I don't feel like they tried to angry black man Bobby. I feel like Bobby was an angry black man. See, sometimes things are what they are. When what Bobby said was rude. And Angel confirmed that he didn't want to be there. Angel confirmed that he didn't want to come and that he did have an attitude. So I don't feel like they angry black man him. I feel like he was a fucking angry black man. See, words mean things. And if it's appropriate, then it's appropriate. I'm sorry. That's my opinion. So then the ladies are having dinner. The dinner looked nice, but it looked like it was cold as fuck. Why you had them outside? I understand the ambiance of it all, but if it was cold, it was cold. Especially when you know they're not used to it. See, you live there. You're used to the weather. You're used to, maybe y'all do eat outside with a shawl and all of that. Me personally, let me tell you what I can't stand. I cannot stand my food to be cold. And there's no way in the world that food wasn't cold. The way them women was talking about how they was freezing and they was wrapped up in them blankets, I don't care if they cooked it on the open fire. Ain't no way in hell that food wasn't cold. Ain't no way in hell that food ain't borderline cold. Oh, and let me rewind before we get there. Let me rewind. On the way to the house, Monique is basically comparing Angel's situation to her situation. Monique, hey girl. Every situation ain't your situation. I get it that maybe you see some similarities in Angel and her mannerisms and things of that nature based on what you went through and how you handled it and the fact that both of y'all husbands work for in the NFL and things like that. But Monique, don't do that. Don't make everybody's situation your situation. I didn't like it. And Angel has every right to be upset when she finds out. Looks like she found out at the end of this episode, going into next week's episode, or was the previews for next week. She has every right to be upset because I would be upset. Don't turn your situation. Everybody's situation ain't the same. Because what we saw is that Angel actually uses Bobby as her shield when she don't want to do something, not the other way around. I didn't feel like Bobby was saying, no, you can't go. I feel like Bobby was like, well, I mean, it will be a lot because you'll be gone all day and then you're going to be gone all night. That is a lot. But, I mean, if you want to go. And she was like, no, I don't want to go. He was like, all right, then don't go. I don't feel like Bobby was, and again, maybe it's just me, but it didn't look like Bobby was like, hell nah. It looked like Bobby was like, well, it would be a lot. But it would be a lot. It would be a lot. First of all, she said now, mind you, you was breastfeeding when you went to Nevis, so you breastfeeding ain't the issue. Let's be clear. But it would be a lot. If you're going to be gone all day long, and then you're going to be gone all night long, that is a lot. And I understand that husbands should just pick up, and it's not like they're babysitting their kids. They're not babysitting. I get all of that, Monique. I get it. But the reality is, if that is not their situation, that's not their situation. Sorry, not sorry. Anyway. So, well, anyway, so then the ladies let it be known that they didn't have no damn water. Now, see, again, I put that on production, not just on Angel, because again, and Monique kind of did it. Monique pulled back the curtain a little bit and was like, yes, production does cover part of the trip financially, but the trip is your trip. It is on you. But if you booked the Airbnb and there was no water and those ladies didn't have any water, then yes, I feel like Angel and production should have tapped in and found somewhere else for those women to go. It's ridiculous. Like, those women should not have had to be in that situation where they ain't had no damn water. Like, come on. Water. Like, if your water gets a building gets condemned when it don't have no damn working water. Like, that's an automatic. And the fact that somebody had to keep going outside and flipping a switch or some shit, that is crazy. That's crazy work. Crazy work. And And I do understand that Angel don't really like these women. I get it. I understand Angel don't like these women. And this trip was like her. Because here's what I feel like happened. I don't know how far in the future they plan these things, but I feel like this trip was planned maybe from the beginning. And by the end of the year, Angel was over those ladies, and really didn't want to fuck with those ladies. So she did the bare minimum. That's my opinion. And when I say the bare minimum, I mean the bare minimum as far as like all of this stuff is concerned. Like, yeah, she's taking them to Aspen, which is cool. She's taking them to Kemosabe, which is like a staple on Housewives. We saw the Beverly Hills ladies go and get hats made a couple of seasons ago. But honestly, I don't even feel like that was a lot of thought. If I'm being honest, I don't feel like that was a lot of thought. Because for them to take a quick jet to Aspen probably is something they do, right? I don't feel like that was a big deal for them to go down to Aspen. For them, I feel like that's what they do on that side of it. Like, I feel like them getting a quick jet, from her house to Aspen, we're talking like a 30-minute jet. I don't think it was that big of a deal. Production paid for part of it. Going to Kemosabe again, that's automatic. Like, that's like saying we're gonna go to Beverly Hills and I'm gonna take y'all to the Beverly Hills Center, to the Ivy for lunch. Like, that's just like, there's no thought in that. It's okay, I'm gonna take them to Aspen where all the celebrities go, and I'm gonna take them to Kemosabe, which is, you know, everybody knows Kemosabe, and the Housewives did it a couple of years ago. So yeah, let's go, let's do that. Yes, it's a nice trip, don't get me wrong, but I still don't feel like she putting a whole lot of thought into it. That's my opinion. Yeah, she gave our hostess gifts. Was it thrown together to get more time until Karen returns? No, I don't think. I think the trip, because they always take 2 trips. This is their second trip. Like, I think the trip was already planned. I just think that Angel did the bare minimum because she really don't care, because she don't like these women. So why would she spend a lot of time, energy on these women? She doesn't like them. I'm being honest. And I feel like the 2 people that she fucks with, that's who she took to her house. The people she really liked. And when production asked Tia about it, it sounded like Tia didn't even want to go, but she went because that's where she was told she was sleeping. It sounded like she would have rather been back at the house with the rest of the ladies to me. So then during dinner, we had to have the arbitrary, let's jump on Stacy conversation. So Stacy and Tia. Tia, you lied on Stacy. Tia, you lied on Stacy. Stacy never said she did not know Chris. Y'all keep wanting Stacy to say something Stacy's not going to say, whether it's a lie or whether it's a truth. Stacy has never changed her story. Well, a little bit when it comes to Chris. She said she didn't date Chris, but then she did kind of say she went out on a date with Chris. Okay, cool. But she never said she didn't know him. She just downplayed how well she knew him. She never said she didn't know that man. And for you to say, well, Stacy, you told me you didn't know him. You told me you didn't know him. That is not what Stacy said. And I'm glad production played it back to show that that is not what Stacy said. Then yeah. Then they brought up the whole date thing again. Y'all go, when I say y'all, they gonna try to make that thing a thing. And I like that Stacy said, I wasn't the only one that was there. Just because I knew Chris, and just because what I found it interesting that they wouldn't say Cookie's name again. Don't y'all find it interesting that they didn't say Cookie? Well, Cookie said, because let's remember, the person who carried that bone back to Chris was Cookie. Cookie said, and remember, the person that talked to Cookie was KK. I think KK was the one that told Cookie, and Cookie was the one that went to Chris. That is what I believe. I don't believe Stacy was the one that called Chris. I honestly don't. I think it was KK. I think KK told Cookie and Cookie told Chris. And Monique said that she actually got paperwork from Chris's lawyer because now he's talking about defamation. So Monique has every right to be pissed off, and Monique has every right to be vested in finding out who said it. She has every right to want to know who said it. She does. Because if it's now involving the custody of her children, and it's now involving paperwork with her and affecting her co-parenting situation with Chris, she has every right to know what was said, in my opinion. I don't know if it's that she, Kevin said Cookie probably can't be mentioned. I don't know if it's that she can't be mentioned. I do feel like production maybe did not want Cookie to have as big of a part as what it turned out to be. So they may have edited her name out. I don't know. But I do find it interesting that they wouldn't say Cookie's name. But honestly, and I'm glad that Stacy said that when Stacy said, I'm not the only one who was there. Because she's not. She wasn't. Everybody was there. And clearly, Cookie talked to everybody on the damn show. Except for Stacy and Monique. So it could have been anybody sitting there. Y'all remember their assistants were sitting over there listening to the whole conversation. Y'all remember when they were at that restaurant and all of the assistants were sitting at the next table listening to the whole conversation? Maybe it could have been anybody. It could have been anybody. But I do not think it was Stacy. Now, do I think that Stacy fumbled the situation with Chris because I feel like she should have just been honest from the beginning and it wouldn't have left any interpretation? Sure. But I don't think she was the one that called Chris. I don't. I think somebody called Cookie and Cookie called Chris. That is what I believe. And that's why I believe the story got so misconstrued, because Cookie is vested in the story being nasty and making Monique look like a bad person because she don't like Monique and she don't fuck with Monique. So the person that carried that bone back to Chris is somebody that wants Monique to look bad. And I just don't think Stacy has a dog in that fight. I just don't believe Stacy has a dog in the fight of making Monique look bad. Because the whole purpose in repeating that was to make Monique look bad, in my opinion. Right. That's who I think. I honestly think it was KK that called Cookie. That is my opinion. And it ain't changing unless production rolls some beautiful bean footage. That ain't changing. Because you saw in the text messages that Stacy did share with Monique, you saw in those text messages where Chris was saying, I heard I was being talked about. So you saw him say to Stacy, I heard my name came up. Why would he text her, I heard my name came up, if she was the one that fucking called him? Come on, y'all. And when I say y'all, I mean the people. Come on, let's use a little bit of common sense here. So anyway, but Tia, you did a lot, and then of course they took that and now they trying to make it seem like they brought up the whole thing with Stacy again. And what I did appreciate that Monique said was, well, look, I don't know you well enough to call you a liar. I'll just wait and see how the chips fall. And if I see something come at me personally, then I'll address it at that. It'll be interesting to see what comes out at the reunion, or how the conversation went at the reunion, with everybody being able to see what was and what was not said. It'll be interesting. Why would he text her unless he knew Stacy was there? How did he know she was there? Because he knew they were filming. I don't understand what you mean, Candace. He knew they were filming. He knows Stacy's on the show. He knew they were filming. I don't understand that question. Tia's a liar too. She acknowledged lying to get her husband. Well, she did do that. So, excuse me, ladies. I'm sorry. So they found out, I already told you guys, the next day they're going to go to Aspen. And again, when they were like, well, let's have a pajama party. Would you guys, would y'all be willing to come over? And, let's have a pajama party when we get back from Aspen. I don't think that Angel was wrong to say, let me talk to Bobby. Like, Monique uses that once again to try to turn it into a, well, girl, oh, he's just doing his fatherly duty. It'll be okay. Girl, you don't get to tell somebody else what's okay in their marriage. See, maybe what bothered you doesn't bother Angel. You wanted Chris to do certain things. Maybe Angel was cool with doing those things. Like Angel said when she was talking to Bobby, she was like, I want to tuck my kids in and read to them. Like, maybe that's what she wants to do. Maybe it's not a sacrifice for her. Maybe it's not an issue for her. You know what I mean? I remember my mother telling me, my mother was like, I never asked your father to watch y'all because, like, I'm not going to ask him to babysit his own kids. She said, but I did ask him, do you have plans? Were you going to do something Friday night? Oh, you don't have any plans? You're not going out with the fellas? You don't have to work late? Cool. Me and the ladies are going to dinner. She was like, I never asked him, could I go to dinner with my friends? I never even asked him to watch y'all because y'all were his just like y'all were mine. But out of respect, I did talk to him about it before I went out. And if he had something to do and I had something to do, we had to figure out what the best thing was. And maybe sometimes the best thing was I can't go out to dinner with my friends tonight because he got to work late. You know what I mean? So I don't see where Angel was wrong to say, look, I'm going to be gone all day long. Bobby's going to be here with the kids. And I guess they have a nanny or whatever. Let me check in with him and make sure he's cool. To me, that is what a relationship is. That is how relationships should work, especially when you have two young children. Now, they did show us with her talking to Bobby, basically saying, yeah, I don't want to come. Like, I'm good. I don't want to go. But again, I think her not wanting to go is more about her not feeling connected to those women and less about her being unhappy in her marriage. I think if Angel were having a better experience with these women, I think Angel's attitude would be a lot different with this trip. I just think this trip was already planned at the beginning of the year, and the season didn't go the way that Angel hoped it would go or wanted it to go. And as a result, it's just a fucked up trip. Because Angel don't care. And I'm not saying that makes it okay. Because I feel like Angel, I think you're making some serious mistakes. First of all, I feel like Angel should have flipped what happened. I feel like when she picked them up at the airport, she should have immediately took them back to her house. Send the luggage to the Airbnb and immediately took those ladies to her house. That welcome dinner should have been first. And I understand they were coming off of a plane. Maybe they wanted to freshen up. Like, I get the production side of it. But I honestly feel like that should have happened first. And then once y'all had, you ate and y'all had to do y'all whole little dinner scene or whatever. And then you let the ladies, and see, once you take them on a tour of the house, you show them, look, y'all, we do have 6 bedrooms, but 4 of the bedrooms are occupied, or 3 of the bedrooms are occupied. We got the kids, Bobby has his man cave. I have an office. It really just, yes, we have a lot of land and our home is big, but we cannot accommodate everybody. So what we did was, some people are going to stay here and some people are going to stay at a really nice Airbnb. One, the Airbnb should have been closer. I said that already. Or a really nice hotel. I apologize, you guys, but we just really couldn't make it work. And now we're going to take you guys over there. And then you take them, just like you did at the beginning. You ride with them over there. Do all the things y'all did with the rooms, blah, 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 blah. And then call it a night. That's how I think it should have been done. In my opinion. Because I feel like that's why now you set up a stank attitude. And I think that's what it is, Ravine. Ravine said Angel doesn't care to present this trip graciously. I agree. I don't think she cares. I think she's over it. Hold on. Patricia said, Angel is too sensitive for this show. She needs to go. She's at work. She should have set things up for Bobby and her kids. The other women left their kids because they are all at work. Okay. Did anyone notice how Wendy was missing towards the end of the episode? No. Mm-mm. But then they would have shaded her home. Well, they're going to do that anyway, Kim, because that's what they do, child. This is a show, though, and this is a job, Candace said. But I feel like this is where the Macy's don't really understand this is a job, and she's thinking this is real life, a real life girls trip. I hear y'all. They should have just gone to Aspen. Yeah, I think they should have just gone to Aspen. Shit. They could have rent Kyle's house. Remember when they went to Aspen a couple of seasons ago on Beverly Hills, and Kyle had half the girls stayed women, half the women stayed at her house. She has a house in Aspen, and then the other half of the women stayed at an Airbnb down the street. So, like, I understand sometimes you have to split people up, but this was just messy. This was just messy, in my opinion. It was just messy all the way around. So the ladies go back to the house that night. It's pitch black, which, I mean, of course it's going to be pitch black. But it is scary. They get to the house and there's no fucking water. Now, let me be honest and let me be very clear. I'm guessing that they got there late, or maybe they were thinking that maybe a Uber wouldn't have been able to find them at nighttime with no street lights and all that good stuff. But let me tell you something. Baby, I'd have been on my Airbnb app or hotels.com at that point so damn fast. Let me get back there and there wasn't no damn water. Baby, I'd have been at the Hilton, the Marriott, the Ritz, the Embassy Suites. I would have been anywhere but there. Production would have showed up the next morning thinking they was about to film the chef cooking breakfast, and the chef would have been there by himself. Because I'd have knocked on the door. Hey, I just called the Embassy Suites. They got 5 rooms. You want one? Okay. I'd have been, hey, I just called the Embassy Suites. They got 5 rooms. You want one? Okay. Hey, you want, okay, cool. We're going to get an Uber out here. Because the people live there, they know how to maneuver on them roads with no street lights and shit. They know how to find all that stuff. It's new to y'all. It ain't new to them. That's how they live. They know how to maneuver them back roads and up roads and down roads and no street lights and stuff. All y'all needed was the address. You can get the address. All you got, listen, if production wouldn't give you the address, your phone will. You said bougie B. I don't think that's bougie. You ain't got no running water. How you flushing the toilet? How you taking a shower? How you brushing your teeth? I don't think that's bougie. No, I don't think that's bougie. Wendy said on the after show that they were using a bathroom and weren't flushing. Absolutely not. Nope. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And this is, y'all know how much I hate to say these things out of my mouth. But on this one, I'm with Giselle. When Giselle said I'm gonna find us some other accommodations, baby, I was team Giselle on that one. Baby, we're gonna find, I don't care, we're gonna get on this Airbnb app or we're gonna get on this hotel app. We're gonna find somewhere to stay. And it won't be here. I'm not gonna keep playing Russian roulette with the faucet. You mean to tell me they were using the bathroom and wasn't flushing? Now, Angel said nobody called her or texted her. Now, maybe they felt like Angel wasn't going to care. Maybe they felt like, well, Angel, you're an hour away. What the hell were you going to do about it? I don't know why they didn't call her. But I promise you, if you don't know nothing else about me, I promise you, let me not be able to flush the toilet. I wouldn't have been there. Now, I wouldn't have been there that night. Baby, even if I only packed me a change of clothes and said I'll be back in the morning, I'm not staying there. And I would have told, listen, whether I effed with you or not, I'd have told all the ladies. I'd have went room to room. Said, listen, I call embassy. This how much the room is. They got a room. If you want to stay here, that's cool. But I'll be back in the morning. I'm out. I'm calling the Uber in 15 minutes. Calling the Uber in 15 minutes. And then I would have fucking billed production. I said I'd have sent my hotel bill to production. The owners need to give Bravo some of their money back. They do. The owners, yeah, that's some old Airbnb shit right there. Mm-hmm. And while all that was happening, Angel was turning on her other side in her warm bed. She and Bobby could have worked on that ASAP. They should have had new accommodations that night. When those ladies told them there was no water, I'd have been like, that's unacceptable. And I would have put them in a hotel. Like, if that were my trip and I got the money she say she got, when those ladies said that they didn't have no running water, I would have said, okay, hold on. We're going to get y'all a room for tonight while I get in touch with the owners and we get it figured out. But see, that's how I would have handled it. And if I didn't have the money to afford to put everybody in a hotel, baby, we'd have had a bunk bed. We'd have had a slumber party. I'd have been like, all right, well, y'all, you know, we're going to sleep here tonight until we figure it out. We just have to make it work. We got plenty of couches. I might have some air mattresses in the garage we can blow up. I mean, you make it work. But I wouldn't have sent them women back to that house with no fucking water. I'm sorry. Baby, I bet your production was at the embassy suite. They set up those cameras and they went on home when we went back to the hotel. I bet you that's where production was. I like Airbnbs if it's a group of people. I've tried to do an Airbnb. Like, if you're not going to, for me, if it's just one or two people, it's cheaper to just do a hotel. Or it's easier. Maybe not always cheaper. But I do like Airbnbs if it's going to be a group of people. I do like that. I remember one time I tried to do an Airbnb in Atlanta and it was impossible. I was like, forget it. We're just going to stay at a hotel. Because I think it was 1 year for like the Boss Babes or something. It was going to be like me, Abby, and like 2 or 3 other people. And I was like, yeah, let's just do an Airbnb. But I guess Atlanta is used to doing type stuff. And it was just hard to get an Airbnb. One place let me, I booked it. And then when I sent them my ID, they were like, oh, no, that weekend's not available. I said, so it was available to you. So my ID, I put that complaint in. I sure did. Then all of a sudden they had, we just made a mistake on our calendar. We have because you let me book the room until I uploaded my ID. Then all of a sudden, oh no, there's a conflict. That's when I was like, you know what, forget it. I'm just going to go to a hotel because y'all doing too much. But anyway, that was pretty much the episode, y'all. It looks like the previews for next week. The ladies are going to Aspen. Jazzy looked like she was carrying the bone back to Angel. Let Angel know that Monique said some things. Jazzy was the one that told Angel about that the lady still didn't have no water. But the episode left off with them heading out, I guess, to go pick up the girls to head out to Aspen. So we'll see. We know they filmed the reunion this week, so we'll see. Next week is Aspen. I'm thinking we probably have like maybe 3 more episodes, 2 to 3 more episodes. Yeah. And Ocean, and that was around the time when Airbnb said they were going to change their policies and stuff like that. Because I absolutely filed a complaint, and that person, they weren't a super host, but it affected their rating. Like, I mean, Airbnb didn't kick them off the app, but it did affect their rating. And because they sent me a letter and they was all apologetic and, well, if you want to come another weekend, no, I'm good. I don't need to stay nowhere. I don't need to stay at your property at all. Yeah, I know Angel's on Watch What Happens Live. I'll have to watch it tomorrow because I'm about to go to bed. The way didn't I tell y'all earlier the way I was sleeping in this chair earlier? Whew. Excuse me. Yeah, and I also think because Cameron said it's hard to get an Airbnb because some owners don't trust us because to be a lot of content creators. Yeah, I know they make those like those content houses or whatever, but I also feel like I think in certain areas it's harder than others too because maybe people have been renting houses for like parties and that kind of stuff. So I think I think certain areas are worse than others. Because Atlanta is the only place I have ever had that problem. I've booked Airbnbs. I've booked VRBOs. Remember that house I booked in Turks and Caicos? It was 10 of us. No problem. The only thing was I had to let them know the names, and that's pretty much with every Airbnb. You know, they had to, had to register the names. They had to, all that kind of stuff. But it wasn't a problem. And they said, "Why are you coming?" I said, "I'm coming for a birthday. It's my, it's my 50th birthday. I'm having a birthday party, and these are some friends." And it was not an issue. I told them everything I wanted to do. I was like, that was it. El Teddy's aunt and uncle came by and hung out with us one day. Wasn't a problem. It wasn't an issue. I mean, we didn't have like a bunch of other people come, but it wasn't an issue for us to have other people who weren't on the, they just couldn't stay the night, but they weren't staying the night anyway. They live there. They live in Turks and Caicos. You know what I mean? But but anyway, the best thing I can say to y'all is this is one of those weeks where I'm gonna get in where I fit in and get caught up as much as I can, as the way I can. I know I owe you Married to Medicine. I'm going to do a quick Traders. I think Angela did a Traders this afternoon. I was going to hop on, baby. I was asleep. I slept right through it. Ready to Love. I'm not going to do a Ready to Love. Treese and they went live. Did Ready to Love this afternoon. Again, I slept through it, child, because I haven't watched the episode yet, so I couldn't pop on it. But I'm not going to do Ready to Love, so don't look for it. Just go watch what Treese and them had to say, child. I'll catch up with y'all next week on Ready to Love. I did Love and Marriage Huntsville already. Beyond the Gates, I'm probably just going to wait until next Saturday and do Beyond the Gates. Yeah, I'm going to do the Traders panel. I just didn't do it this weekend because I was, because I was out of town. But we are going to do the Traders panel. I think it's going to be Angela, myself, JB, Ebby, maybe El Teddy, maybe Busy. I'm not sure. I know Busy's in the group chat, so I don't know if he's going to do it or not. So we are going to do a Traders panel and stuff. But I'm probably just going to do a Traders live for the first 3 episodes. I still haven't even watched the 3rd episode yet. Actually, so that's, and then of course, Beverly Hills. That's the other one. I need to get you guys Beverly Hills. So we'll get caught up, you guys. Tomorrow, the Whether You Like It or Not panel, I believe is going to be Josiah's, because y'all know it was supposed to be Josiah last week. But then he needed he had cracked his computer screen. So do Traders now what? What you mean do Traders now? I just told you I haven't even watched all 3 episodes. I know y'all be playing, but sometimes y'all be doing a lot. Like, what you mean do it now? And I know y'all be playing. I think something I was gonna say. Oh, so tomorrow that's what the Whether You Like It or Not panel is. And then yeah. So I'll see y'all tomorrow. Y'all have a great evening, and I will talk to y'all later. Mwah. Peace.